All right, we're going to take a look at solving linear equations that have infinite or no solutions. So to start off, we're going to start with 2x plus 7 equals 23. It's a pretty standard equation that we have seen. If it helps you, you can draw that line down here in the middle. Okay, so it splits your equation in two parts along the equal sign. Now, because we have 2x and we're adding 7, that means we're going to bring the 7 to the other side by doing the opposite operation of what you see. So positive 7 minus 7 goes to 0. And we're left with 2x equals, and we calculate 23 minus 7, which is going to give us 16. All right, now we're going to divide by 2 because it's 2 times x. To release the x, we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. 2 over 2 is 1, leaving us with x equals, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. So in these typical types of equations, we have one solution. So when you can find a value for the variable, you have one solution, and there you have it. Okay. But there are times where you don't have any solutions, or you have what we call lots of solutions or infinite solutions. So let's take this case here of x plus 7 equals x. So our objective, as always, I'll bring you to your line to split your equation down. Our objective is to get the variables on one side, numbers on the other. So we'll start. We have some variables here on the right-hand side, and we have them on the left. So let's bring this x over to the right-hand side. So since it's a positive x, and if you don't see it, you can write a positive sign, we subtract that x on each side. This goes to 0, and this is 7 equals, now, x minus x is 0, just like it was on the left-hand side. That happened here too. But you have to write a 0 down because you can't have nothing on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. You have to have something written. So 7 comes down here. X minus x is 0 here. And then we're stuck because what's happened is we have lost our variable. And when we lose our variable, what we have to do is we have to ask the question, is what we have left true? So is 7 equals 0 true? That's the question we're asking. So you have two options, yes. And if it's yes, then that means we have lots of solutions or infinite solutions. And if it's no, that's not true, then we have no solutions. All right, so if it's yes, infinite or lots of solutions, or if it's no, no solutions. So let's go back to our problem here. We wound up with 7 equals 0. We lost our variable, and the question is 7 equal to 0? And the answer is no. So that means no solution. That means that you cannot find one number that would fit into this equation for x and make it true. So for example, like if it were 1 plus 7 is not equal to 1. What if x was 2? 2 plus 7 is 9. That's not equal to 2. So you can't find a single answer for x that would make that true. All right, let's look at another example. Negative x minus 8 equals negative 1 times the quantity x plus 8. So we can't do anything on this side of the equal sign, so we're going to rewrite it. So negative x minus 8. But we can distribute the negative 1 to x, giving us negative 1x or negative x. And we can distribute the negative 1 times the 8. That's a positive 8, so it becomes a negative 8, because negative times positive is negative. And at this point, some of us might recognize that this is the same on both sides. Okay? Some of us may recognize that, and we'll be like, oh no! Okay, but if that happens, what you can then conclude is that there are infinite solutions. Okay? So if you get the same on both sides, it's infinite solutions. Lots of solutions will work. Lots of x values will work in this problem. Not just 1, not just 8, not just 10, not just negative 4, not just negative 5, not just 0. lots of them, all of those and more. Fractions, decimals, and integer values will work. So let's go back to our original problem again, though. What if you don't recognize? We become robots and we just kind of go through the motions of, okay, I got this on each side. My goal is to get numbers on one side, variables on the other. Well, okay, let's go through the motions then. The first thing we usually like to do is we like to bring the variables to one side or the numbers to the one side. So let's do the numbers first. Let's get that 8 over there. That comes 0. We get negative x equals negative x, and that's a 0 there too, so that's what we have left. Say we don't see that it's still the same on both sides and have the same situation. And we go through the motions and say, oh, all right, I got to get those variables on the other side. Let's get those x's over. Let's get those x's over. All right, up plus x, okay? All right, we bring them over to each side and we say, all right, negative x plus x is 0. Well, I have to write something down here. So it's 0. It's not 0x, it's just 0. It's gone. Negative x plus x, well, that's 0 too. So what happens here, you still wind up in a case where it's the same thing on both sides. You lost your variable, and the question is this true? So it's you got two things you can ask here. Same on both sides again. So your answer is infinite solutions, or is 0 equals 0 true? And the answer is yes, so infinite solutions. Every single number you can think of in the real number system will make this a true statement, a true equation. Let's try another one. 2x plus 3 equals 4 plus 2x. All right, common sense, if you get into common sense about math, if I have 2x on each side, and I'm adding 3 on one side, and I'm adding 4 on the other side, is that really going to be equal? Okay, so think about it that way. So that's for our higher ups. People are thinking at a different level than some of us are. So that would be like, that can't happen. So it means no solutions. But let's see what happens, all right? So our normal procedure is, let's take our numbers to one side. And we get 2x equals 1 plus 2x. Let's get our variables on the other side. Since there's nothing on the left to gather up anymore, then my variables will have to live on the left side. So let's bring this 2x over to here by subtracting and subtracting. So we're bringing it this way. Okay. So 2x minus 2x is 0. Not 0x, just 0. It's gone. So once it's gone, it's gone. Bring that number down because there's nothing else to write on this side. So we have to put something, and it's got to be 0. Equals. This is 1, but 2x minus 2x again is 0. But since I already have a number on that side, I don't have to actually say plus 0. Okay, but if you wanted to, you could, and then you'd have to total that. So you have 0 equals 1. The question is this true? And the answer is no. 0 does not equal 1, so no solution. No numbers in the real number system will work to solve this equation. And as we said in the beginning, if I have 2x on each side, and on one side I'm adding 3, and on the other side I'm adding 4, that's not equal. So no solution. All right, let's try another. This side we're going to distribute, so 2x plus 10. This side we're going to keep the 2x, and we're going to gather up. 7 plus 3 is 10. And you notice it's the same on each side. So if it's the same on each side, the answer is infinite solutions. If you don't recognize that right there and you become the robots that we usually are in mathematics and we start to solve because we're just going through the motions, we're going to subtract 10. We're going to get 2x equals 2x. You might notice it here. If you still don't notice it and you get all your variables on one side, you got 0 equals 0. And now you have to say true or false. And true is yes, So infinite solutions. So again, it depends on how your brain works and operates and what you see in the given moment and how robotic you are being, and whether you will recognize this early on or a little bit later. Either way, you'll wind up at the same result, which is the most important. And last problem. Pretty complicated looking, but it's not so bad. 4 times negative x is negative 4x. 4 times 2 is positive 8. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2 is minus 10, plus 6 plus x. So before we do anything, we have to gather up like terms. So let's put that down on our side to split our equation in 2 parts. Negative 4x plus 8 we can't do anything with on this side, so we will keep it. Equals. Negative 5 plus x is negative 4x. Negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Okay, some of us might recognize that, hey, if I've got negative 4x on both sides and I'm adding 8 to one side and I'm subtracting 4 from the other, no way this is equal. But if you don't recognize it, we go through the motions and we start to move our numbers to the one side. We bring down our negative 4x equals negative 4x. We total negative 4 minus 8. It's negative 12, so minus 12. We continue to go through our motions and we add 4x and add 4x. Negative 4x plus 4x is 0, but that's on this side of the equal sign, so we have to put that 0 down. Equals negative 4x plus 4x is 0. 0 minus 12 is negative 12. And the question is that true? That's the question, and the answer is no. So no solutions. And again, if you recognize that up here, that if I had negative 4x and negative 4x on both sides of the equal sign, but I added 8 to one side, so it's 8 larger, but I took 4 away from the other side, so it's 4 smaller, there's no way this could be equal, so no solutions. So it depends on your brain, how it operates, depends on the moment that you're in and whether or not you're going to recognize it, but either way, you'll get to the same answer. And that is how you will determine if you have one solution, which is what we've been solving all along, no solutions, or infinite solutions to a linear equation.